Did you know that some of the most popular foods flying off the shelves at Costco are completely banned in Europe? Yes, banned. While we casually snack and stock up without a second thought, countries across Europe have taken a hard stance, refusing to allow certain ingredients into their food supply. Why? Because many of these products contain additives linked to DNA damage, hormone disruption, and long-term health risks that regulators there simply won't gamble with. And wait until you hear what's number one. It's something millions of Americans consume every single day without blinking. Let's dive into one of the most shocking examples: Sour Patch Kids. You've probably eaten them. Your kids have probably begged for them, and they sit comfortably on Costco's shelves in giant family-size bags. Sweet, sour, and addictive, right? But in Europe, they're not just frowned upon, they're forbidden. Why? Because of one sneaky ingredient hiding in that vibrant candy-colored coating: titanium dioxide. This isn't just some random food dye. European scientists reviewed the research and found compelling evidence that titanium dioxide can damage your DNA. We're not talking about a mild stomachache. This is your genetic blueprint, the thing that keeps your cells running properly under potential attack. Europe didn't hesitate. They removed it entirely from the food system, not restricted, not monitored, just gone. Meanwhile, in the US, we're still handing it out like party favors. Now pause for a moment. Think about how many times you or someone you love has eaten this candy, thinking it's harmless. Just a treat, right? But the same exact product that's banned overseas is sold here in bulk, like it's no big deal. This isn't fear-mongering, it's fact. And it begs a bigger question. Why are American food safety standards falling so far behind? Why are we still tolerating chemicals that other developed countries said a firm no to? Have we become too numb to question what's really inside our favorite foods? When another part of the world looks at the same science and decides it's not worth the risk, shouldn't we at least stop and think? Be honest, is any candy really worth playing roulette with your long-term health? And that's just the beginning. Childhood memories often come wrapped in sweet, colorful packaging. But what if those nostalgic treats were hiding something far more dangerous than we ever imagined? If something as iconic as American candy contains a banned substance, it begs the question, what else is sitting quietly in our Costco carts pretending to be harmless? What you're about to hear will make you rethink every aisle you casually stroll down. And just wait till you hear what's lurking in item number 7 and 9. Especially number 9, Sundrop. A soda that Europe flat out refuses to swallow. You've likely seen it glowing from the shelf, maybe even grabbed it for a quick sugar fix. Sundrop, that electrifying citrus soda that looks like a sibling of Mountain Dew. But there's more in that glowing green fizz than just caffeine and sugar. Hidden deep in its bubbly depths is an ingredient that sounds almost unreal: brominated vegetable oil, or BVO. If that name feels unfamiliar, you're not alone. Most Americans have never heard of it, but they've definitely consumed it. In the US, BVO is still permitted. But in Europe, it's completely banned. Why? Because this isn't just some harmless flavor enhancer. BVO builds up in your body over time. It doesn't just pass through you, it stays, settling into your tissues and interfering with your brain and nervous system. Long-term exposure has been linked to neurological problems, behavioral issues, and even memory loss. And yet it's still sitting on shelves, quietly fizzing away in sodas marketed to kids, athletes, and busy adults looking for a boost. Let that sink in for a second. The same chemical once used as a flame retardant, a substance designed to slow fires, is being poured into your drink. It's hard to imagine, but it's real. You're not just drinking soda, you could be swallowing a compound so dangerous that over 100 countries have said no way. And yet in the US, it's just another ingredient buried in fine print on a flashy label. So ask yourself, how often have you grabbed a soda without reading what's inside? We assume that if it's sold in a major store like Costco, it must be safe. But that blind trust might be the very thing putting our health at risk. If your brain, your memory, and your well-being actually matter to you, and I know they do, then what you drink should matter too. And Sundrop is just the beginning. Because coming up next, we're pulling the curtain back on a so-called healthy juice that's quietly hiding one of the most controversial additives on Earth. You won't see this coming. 3. Skittles and candies. The rainbow Europe refuses to taste. We've all heard it. Taste the rainbow. It's fun, colorful, and catchy. But what if I told you that the very rainbow we're feeding our kids and ourselves comes with a dark, toxic twist? Skittles and other bright candies from popular brands like Mandarels may look innocent, but behind that cheerful glow are synthetic dyes that Europe wants absolutely nothing to do with. We're talking red 40, yellow 5, blue 1, and again, yes, titanium dioxide. These aren't just colors. These are chemicals linked to hyperactivity in children, allergic reactions, and even cancer in long-term animal studies. Now here's where it gets truly infuriating. These same companies actually make a safer version of these candies in Europe. That's right, they already know how to use natural coloring alternatives like beet juice or spirulina. But when it comes to American shelves, they stick with the cheaper synthetic stuff. Why? Because they can. US food regulations don't force them to change. So while parents in the UK are getting transparency and safety, parents in America are unknowingly handing out a risk-laced version of the exact same candy. Think about that. You could be tossing a pack of Skittles into your child's lunchbox, believing it's just harmless fun, while Europe would require a warning label for the same product. We're not talking about a mild sugar crash here. Multiple studies suggest links between these dyes and behavioral issues like ADHD, heightened allergies, and potential carcinogenic effects with long-term exposure. And still, those bright little candies sit proudly on display at stores like Costco, waiting to be scooped up by trusting shoppers. So if they can make a cleaner, safer version, why haven't they given that to us? That's a question no candy brand seems eager to answer. But it doesn't stop there. Because just when you think buying organic means you're safe, the next item proves that even those feel-good labels might be hiding the very same threats. And this one hits especially hard, because it's marketed directly to your kids. 7. Annie's Organic Bunny Fruit Snacks, the wholesome treat Europe warned about. Let's talk about trust for a second. When you see a snack labeled organic, especially one with cute bunnies and playful packaging, you feel good about tossing it into your cart. It feels responsible, like someone already did the research, right? But here's the shocking truth. Annie's Organic Bunny Fruit Snacks, sold right at Costco, still contain red 40 and yellow 5, the very same artificial dyes linked to hyperactivity, allergic reactions, and long-term health concerns. So even in an organic product meant for children, these controversial additives are quietly hiding in plain sight. Europe? They flagged it, loud and clear. But here in the US, no label, no warning, just bright colors and false confidence. The kind that makes a parent believe they're making a healthy choice, when in reality, they're being misled by a label that doesn't always mean what we think it does. This is about more than snacks. It's about a broken system where organic doesn't always mean safe, and where companies know better but choose cheaper. And if that doesn't rattle your trust, wait until you hear what's coming in item 8. Because what you thought was just a quick breakfast fix might actually be feeding your family a chemical banned in Europe over cancer fears. And yes, it's another Costco bestseller. Let's pause here for a second, because what I'm about to say might shake the trust you have in that so-called organic label. You see, some snacks sold in US stores, especially those marketed as healthy or kid-friendly, still include synthetic dyes, the same ones that Europe demands a warning label for. Yes, seriously. These dyes, like red 40 and yellow 5, are directly linked to hyperactivity and attention issues in children, and Europe has made it mandatory for products containing them to carry a clear warning for parents. But here in the US, these snacks are still sitting on the shelves like everything's fine. You'll find them right next to applesauce and whole grain crackers, tucked safely into what looks like the healthy aisle. Some even carry that comforting organic sticker. But here's the truth. That label only applies to some ingredients. It doesn't magically erase the artificial additives tucked away in the fine print. The dyes themselves aren't organic. The processing isn't clean. And that wholesome image? It's not health. It's clever marketing. Think about it. Parents grab these snacks believing they're making a responsible choice. But what they're really handing their kids is a product so questionable, Europe won't even allow it without a warning sign. And this isn't candy we're talking about. It's a snack designed for children, shaped for children, and marketed directly to parents trying to do better. So do you still trust that little green organic sticker? Because what's coming next might hit even harder. Number 6 takes us back to a childhood favorite that's still sold in bulk today. The warm, sweet, gooey honey bun. Remember those, the ones you'd heat up after school, or grab in the morning when you're running late. But underneath that comforting swirl of sugar is something much darker, an ingredient called propylparaben. In Europe, this preservative is banned completely because of its potential to disrupt hormones. This isn't some conspiracy theory. It's been studied for its effects on the endocrine system, which controls everything from your metabolism to your reproductive health. And Europe didn't wait around. They removed it. No debates, no delays. But here in America, we're still casually eating it. Sara Lee's honey buns are stacked high in Costco's bakery section, marketed as affordable comfort food. But peel back that wrapper, and you're not just tasting nostalgia. You're being exposed to a chemical risk that could be slowly interfering with your body's most critical functions. This isn't about scaring you. It's about opening your eyes, because if something sweet enough to be in every childhood memory contains an ingredient banned in other parts of the world, what else is hiding in plain sight? And trust me, you'll want to hear what's next, because item 7 is something millions of families still buy believing it's one of the healthiest drinks on the shelf. But behind that label lies a warning Europe wouldn't dare ignore. Let's be honest, how many people are still picking up those honey buns for their kids, their partner, or maybe just for that quick afternoon coffee break, completely unaware of what propylparaben even is, let alone what it's doing inside their body? That shiny glaze and nostalgic scent are more than just tempting, they're deceptive. Because while the outside smells sweet, the inside could be chipping away at your health, slowly, quietly, every single bite. And that's the scariest part. It's not the rare exotic foods doing the damage. It's the everyday stuff, the products we trust without question, the ones we grew up with, the ones that make us feel safe simply because they've always been there. If this video is waking something up inside you, if it's making you see things differently, then take a second, hit that like button and subscribe to Frugal Daily. We're here to uncover the hidden truths behind the labels, so you can shop smarter, stay healthier, and do it all without blowing your budget. Because knowledge shouldn't cost you your well-being. Now, let's move on to something even more shocking. Bread. Yes, good old-fashioned bread. Rolls, loaves, buns. The kind you toss in your Costco cart without thinking twice. But some of those soft, fluffy breads from Kirkland's Bakery are hiding a chemical that Europe, Canada, the UK, and even China have completely banned. Potassium bromate. Sounds sciencey and boring? Here's what it really means. Potassium bromate has been linked to cancer in multiple animal studies, and yet it's still allowed in American sandwich rolls. Why? Because it helps make the bread fluffier and stretchier. That's it. A better texture, a prettier rise, and for that superficial benefit, we're gambling with our health. Here's where it gets even worse. Potassium bromate doesn't always disappear during baking. That means trace amounts can remain in the final product. Yes, in the same bread you use to make sandwiches for your kids, burgers for a cookout, or garlic toast on pasta night. Meanwhile, countries with far stricter food safety standards have said a hard no to it. Their logic? If there's even a hint of risk, don't take it. But here in the US, the FDA still hasn't banned it. Instead, they've taken a wait-and-see approach, while consumers become the test subjects. So let me ask you something. If places with stronger food regulations are drawing a line in the sand, why are we still crossing it? Why are we using potentially dangerous additives to fake freshness and fluffiness instead of demanding safer, cleaner options? Because the real cost of convenience may be your health. And what's coming next in item 4 might just be the most misleading natural food you've ever put in your cart. Stay with me. Sometimes the most dangerous things are the ones we never think to question. And packaged tortillas, yes, those simple-looking soft wraps you throw into your Costco cart for taco night, are a perfect example. We grab them without hesitation, assuming they're just flour, water, maybe a little oil. But hiding deep inside many of these shelf-stable tortillas is a chemical you've already heard about, propylparaben. The same hormone-disrupting preservative that Europe banned years ago and that we just exposed in those gooey Sara Lee honey buns, is back again. Only this time it's not in dessert, it's in your dinner. And here's why that matters even more. While a honey bun might be an occasional treat, tortillas are a staple in many households.